Be sure to check out my store for the stuff I use and templates at a low cost, and get my everything pack so you can have everything in my store at a reduced cost, less than $20 if you tweet it out. What's up guys, Qehzy here, bringing you guys another tutorial. Today we're in After Effects and I'm going to be showing you how to use this sweet Saber plugin to create a cool little animation of the text. There's like a lot of things you can do with this plugin and I haven't explored it enough. I actually want to create like a full intro or text animation with this, but I haven't gotten around to it. I just did this simple one. You can see I have this, and then I also have this, and this one's a little more simpler. I created this one from scratch, however, and then this one is actually a preset. I just did the little bit of animation, but what you're going to want to do is download this Saber plugin. So let me pull it up here. Here's the website on Video Copilot, and it's a free plugin, so you don't have to pay anything. But you can watch their little tutorial. I watched like the first 5 minutes and kind of helped me out with a few things. And you also get to see all the things that they did with it, and they show this little plugin trailer, or you could just watch the trailer to see what they do with it. But you want to download it here for obviously whichever one you have, Windows or Apple. And then the installation process is really simple. You just have to go through their setup. You don't have to drag anything to a folder or whatever like some plugins. But yeah, so you want to do that first. Link is in the description. Set it up, and then we want to go ahead into After Effects and start working with it. So let's do a new composition, and I'm going to just call this Tut. I'm going to do 1920 by 1080 with a black background and click OK. And the first thing I'm going to do is go to Effects and Presets and type in Saber. And you just want to go, oh, actually, we want to go to Layer, New, Solid, and I'm just going to call this Saber. Click OK. So we have a black solid layer, and then we want to drag our Saber plugin over there. And you can see we immediately get a lightsaber, a blue lightsaber sort of look right away. Now you can do different shapes, but I'm showing you strictly how to do the text. If you want to do other shapes, you can. It's a pretty similar method, but if you're not sure, you can watch the first 5 minutes of that tutorial I was telling you about on Video Copilot's website. But we're going to go to Layer, New, Text, and I'm just going to type in Qehzy and use Gotham Black and bring this down a little more center. And then let's go back to the Saber layer, and we want to go to Custom Core, drop that window down, go to where it says Core Type, do Text Layer, and then where it says Text Layer, select the text. So you can see the default text kind of is very bright, but we want to hide the Qehzy, or you want to hide your text layer so the white part of your text isn't showing up anymore. So you'll just get an outline, but since the intensity of this particular Saber is really high, you can't see anything. But if you want to go ahead, you can go to presets and play around with a bunch of different ones. So there's default, which is this one. You got arc reactor, which is the one I showed you. And you got some nods to other movies. Actually, Energize is pretty cool too. We got arc reactor obviously is Iron Man. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I think it's Iron Man. I'm not gonna say obviously. I think it's Iron Man. But then we got Ghostbuster, Kryptonite, Patronus, and Starkiller. And there might be some more that I'm missing. Tractor Beam sounds familiar. I'm not sure what that's from. But we got a bunch of different. Actually, is that a Star Wars thing? I don't know. But you see, there's a bunch of different presets, and I'm going to stick with arc reactor because I think it's really sweet. And we can go here where it says glow color and change that color to whatever we want. What does the yellow look like? Yeah, a little gross. Some colors don't work with some settings because they act differently with the white. So you can see orange kind of, or yellow blends together with the white a lot. So the intensity is a bit weird. But I actually kind of like this dark orange. This is pretty rad. And if I play this, you can see this has movement on it. So if I play this, come on. If I play this, this has movement on it, and the energy kind of goes around and whatnot. which is really sweet. I'm going to run through some of these settings real quick. I'm not going to go into them too far because they're really self-explanatory, and if you want to cover them all, they cover them in the video Copilot tutorial. But obviously these first ones are pretty self-explanatory. Custom core is where we're going to be working on later, so I'm not going to get into that. Flicker is, this one doesn't have any flicker, but it's like the flickering of light. Pretty self-explanatory. If you can bump it up to get a little bit of a flicker. Distortion, glow distortion is the bits around it. So actually, can I bump this up? You can kind of see what it's doing with the glow itself. And I usually don't mess around with this too much. I usually keep it, if I use this, I keep it around the text because you can expand it to like around the outside, and it just looks kind of dumb when you do that unless you have stuff going on in the background. Chord distortion is the like white part of the text. Obviously you can play around with that. It's also pretty self-explanatory. Glow settings I don't really mess with, but they're what they sound like. You can play around with the glow and all the different things about it. And then render settings I don't really get into at all, but you can play with the motion blur, so when things move it looks a little better, etc, etc. Not really something I'm going to talk about, but if you want to get into it, you can look at the video Copilot tutorial. I'm actually going to go here to chord distortion, and I'm just going to change this to energy or fluid maybe. Actually, what does that look like? That looks a little wild, doesn't it? I don't like that. What does energy look like? It's a little too much. I'm going to stick with smoke, whatever. If we bump up the wind speed too, like in either direction, it'll increase how fast the stuff moves, and then invert kind of just flips wherever the energy is. It kind of flips it completely around. And by the way, with this mask, since it's multiple layers, it's kind of like saying it's gonna flip in its each individual layer, like letter, not the whole thing. So whatever going on the Q won't go on the Y, if you know what I mean. Each one of these letters is separated according to this preset. But let's go here to customize core, and we're gonna kind of animate this a little bit. So if we go to the beginning, we can go ahead to start offset and just click the stopwatch, and I'm gonna bump that up to 100. Then I'm gonna move forward to wherever I want this to come together and bring it down. So that'll create 2 keyframes there, and if I play this through, it'll kind of come together and look really sweet. And if I want to, I can go open this up, select both of these keyframes if I can from here, which I can't. Let me open it up again. Select these 2 keyframes now. Nope. Now I can. I'm going to select these 2 keyframes, and I'm going to right click, keyframe assistance, easy ease, and then I'm going to hit the graph and select the right point and bring it in a little bit. And this should make it a little more interesting and look a little more fluid. And that's a pretty rad little text effect. And obviously we can play around with the presets then as well and get different looks, but that's essentially how you do it. And then you can go further into this, but I just thought this text was really sweet. And if you want, you can reverse it. So if I duplicate this, and if you duplicate these, by the way, you have to go back and select the text layer you're using. And then I'm also going to have to set this layer to screen so the black background's not there. But I'm actually going to flip-flop the start offset settings. So let's actually take that off completely. And then let's go to the end offset, have it at 100. And then let's go to where it ends and put it to 0. So that will intensify it, so these kind of come together in opposite ways. Actually, they do the exact same thing. This actually looks really rad when it, since I screwed it up. I thought they would come from opposite sides, but I messed up the keyframing. But you'll notice if I play this, you can see it starts off purple because I just changed the color to like a purplish blue. It starts off purple, but when the second one starts and overlaps, it changes it to pink, which is actually really sweet in itself. And I'm thinking if I bump this back later, or bump this one back later, we get a cool look. Ooh, that's pretty rad. But yeah, guys, so you can play around with this, get different looks and things like that, animate your text. Obviously, there's a lot more keyframing and stuff you can do. This was just fairly simple, and I wanted to introduce you to this plugin. I'm actually working on an intro with this, so if this gets 100 likes, I will do a tutorial on an intro with this that's more in depth into this plugin once I dive into it. But I saw this plugin and I haven't seen a lot of videos on it, so I thought I'd introduce you guys. But anyway, hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, subscribe for more tutorials, and follow me on Twitter at Qehzy for what I'm doing and etc. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.